it's Alexis and Selina, and we're having a very casual chat today, a little bit different from my other interviews. So today we are chatting with Selina.
Hi everyone.
And what are we talking about today? Lots of different things.
Yeah, we thought it's about time we got to share a little bit of knowledge with the world. So Alexis thought it'd be a good idea for us to just share a few little secrets and wisdom words to get you guys moving forward.
Yeah. So today I never have many questions. Actually, I do. So
bring them on. Let's go.
I'm just going to discuss what I know of Selina, and she's amazing. She's like one of my favourite people. But I have lots of favourite people. She just happens to be one of them. And tell me a little bit about what brought you to where you are now. Like, I know you're doing coaching and amazing things with other women.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to be able to work with some incredible women all over the world, not just here in Australia. So, wow, what brought me here? Every choice I made, pretty much.
Yeah.
There was a point around 3.5-4 years ago where I hit rock bottom, and when you kind of tumble down the rabbit hole, you can either go back up the way you came, or you can build your own new tunnel and come out in your own wonderland. And that's pretty much what I did. I had an amazing mentor, Kylie Ryan, who enabled some new tools and talents within myself to come forward. So I was able to really start seeing what this I could bring to the world. So I do coach, I do workshops, inspirational speaking gigs. What else do I do? Be the light. Over my lifetime, I've been known as the baby whisperer. I lived and worked overseas, so I've done a lot of work over there as well. Right now I'm going through my own next level journey, so it's all everything that I've learnt and shared about self-awareness, self-love and self-acceptance has brought me to a real place of power.
Yeah. And that's what you want to share with the world, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like, you know, as we know, women have come so far in the last 100 years, but we can go even further in a small amount of time. And I think we get so stuck in the comparison and judgment and self-loathing instead of going into self-awareness, self-compassion, self-acceptance. And when we stand in that space and that power, we're more powerful than, we even know what's in our own wealth of knowledge. And even in my space right now, I'm more powerful than I ever thought I'd be. And I know that there's another level, and there'll be another level, and there'll be another level after that. So I want women to start listening to their bodies, to be more self-aware and self-empowered. And then they can stand in their own space and really create for themselves the life they want, instead of the life that we're told we should have, or that's all you're capable of. Or, I had a teacher when I was in Sydney as a little girl who told my mother that I was dumb and would never progress past the age of 8. Hello, look where I am now. I don't want little people to be given that kind of feedback around who they are. There's every skill, talent and strength that every little person has within them, and it's up to us as thought leaders in the world to bring that out so that we can create a really highly empowered community. I know that's what I want to live in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the kind of world that you envision
Moving forward?
Already creating, that we're a part of?
There's been so much of a shift, especially this year. I've seen a lot of people work, and I've helped a lot of my clients work through some really old shift patterns, thought processes. There's been some real healing around the old way of thinking, and even in the world consciously, and even where we're shifting politician-wise around the world. And we're on the cusp of even America having its first ever female president. And I know that's happened in New Zealand and Germany, etc. But really starting to, and it's not about us as women being better than men. We all have our own thing to bring to the game, but if we all work at a higher conscious level and get out of our own way, then that world that we're going to live in is going to be so much more conscious and aware and creative and compassionate. And when nothing stops you, it's limitless.
And really, those adversities that we face are really give us a choice. So, okay, I can crumble and fall under, or I can get up and be even stronger than I was before.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even a conscious thing, it's just, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Nobody can stop me.
Exactly.
I'm going to be stronger. I am stronger. And bring it on.
You got it. And that's the thing, like Wayne Dyer talks about, the 2 words I am are the most powerful things that you can say, and anything follows that. And it's really important for us to really focus in on that. Every morning when you get up, it's, I've said to my clients, have you noticed that if you kick your toe in the morning and you're like, ow, that hurts, and then the whole day is this whole domino effect. Of everything's crap. Whereas if you kick your toe, have a bit of a give, go, yeah, that really hurt. But then go into the fact that, I kind of go, well, I have a toe to kick. What did I kick it on? I have a bed to sleep on, I have running water, I have a roof over my head, I have a flushing toilet. Like, these are incredible things that I'm grateful for, but at the same time, it's that you do have a choice every day to get up and live it differently or more consciously. And particularly for myself right now, my choice is to rise up higher than ever before, because to me, the option of being in that victim space doesn't exist anymore. So when you come to that new level of being and understanding, and we have Kira Poppy trying to make an entrance here, when you come into that, when you come into that space, there's a day for you, when you come into that space, it's amazing what you attract and what you surround yourself by. And they say that you are the 5 people you surround yourself with, and leveling up and stepping up and powering up. Brendan Pershard talks about how a power station has to actually generate to get that electricity pumped out to every house so that you can use every device powered in your home. We're the same, we're beings, and we need to generate that energy in ourselves. It's not up to anyone else. So yes, we can be inspired by other people, but it's your choice how you choose to operate in the world. And it's your reaction. So recently I've been working with a non-for-profit and working with their staff to build their self-esteem in their roles so that they can be more effective in supporting their clients. And there was a lot of resistance from a lot of the staff, because the old way of thinking is if I get a coach or I go see someone who's a mentor or someone who advises me or a teacher, then something's wrong with me and I'm broken. And that's where our limits hit, and we hit the wall. So you remove that filter and all of a sudden it's like, that was really exciting, I feel so much more powerful, I can breathe better, I've got my goals, I'm set for the week, I'm set for the month, I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to change these people's lives just by being the best that I can be.
Exactly.
And that's the gift I want to be able to have, whether someone is 80, whether they're 8. So every little moment, it's either you breathe it or you resist it. And I spent a long time resisting. So when you're in that allowing, breathing space, it's so much more fun.
So much more expansive.
Yeah.
It feels like there are, whatever supposed obstacles, it's all about your perception.
Absolutely.
And if you perceive it as, an obstacle, well, your mind will have something to chew on it anyway and go, well, how can I get over it, or around it, or over it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then you can also perceive it as a lesson or something to choose.
Yeah.
You don't have to even see it as a problem or something that you have to solve.
And the thing is, it's, there's a really fantastic NLP proposition, which is, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. And I think that's really important when we look at how we view our lives and moving forward. Like, there is that statement at the moment going around that it's first world problem. I can't get a car park at the shopping centre, or, I'm sitting in peak hour traffic. And it's like, so what do you do in that peak hour traffic? Do you sit there and get frustrated and get more angry, or do you sit there and go, hey, I'm sitting in peak hour traffic, which means, got a job, I have a vehicle, but you're alive. So what are you going to do? Like, I know for me, I quite often listen to podcasts and seminars, and will quite often, when I was driving from office to office, would be calling people and checking in where they're at and what's going on. And, so you're able to really use that time wisely as much. And there are times where, that's my little hub. It's my introvert time. And, whether I sing at the top of my lungs very badly or I listen to a podcast, just getting me thinking on another level, because again, you know, we think so many of the same thoughts every day. It's up to us to change that thought pattern and process. And, you know, even for myself at the moment, it's reminding myself every day that, you know, there are so many choices and options that I have. So I can either choose to stand up, rise up, and be, again, you know, the most incredible, extraordinary human being that I can be. So, and if that inspires one person to make one thought change, or you decide to change, you know, anything about your life that's not been working, then I'll keep sharing, and I'll keep coaching, and I'll keep doing workshops, and I'll keep creating, you know, meditations, whatever it is that you need, I'll do it. If that's going to have your life be an extraordinary journey.
But also, there's something in you that thrives of, you know, helping others and you know, putting this out into the world. It's not only about serving others. In that space, you're serving yourself by being the best person that you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, it does thrill me. I do love watching, particularly when I run workshops, watching women just transform in that space, and I get to see them over that day or that half a day. There's nothing like it. It's just this.
That's what light goes on. Yeah,
it's they light up like they've never lit up, and I get to be part of that, and that's an incredible privilege. So, you know, and I mean, I've been a social worker and worked in child protection, and, you know, worked with children and nannied and worked with families all over the world. But, you know, one of the pivotal moments in my life was being in Egypt and going to an orphanage there, and there was this little bubba who had been abandoned on the steps of the orphanage when she was about 3 days old, but they only could approximate that. So she was about 9 months when I met her, but she had the developmental capacity of a 6-month-old. And I was playing with her on the floor and cuddling her and singing her songs, and the doctor said to me, "She's never smiled. You're the first person that's been able to make her smile." So I would have taken her home with me, but Australia doesn't have an agreement with Egypt, so it's a bit tricky. But that beautiful little bubba, like, you know, I left. There's nothing else I could do other than leave money to help take care of her for a couple of years, because back then British pound to Egyptian pound was, you know, incredible. But she smiled, and I had something to do with that, and that just makes your heart explode. So it's like, well, why not do that on a bigger scale? And that's only a little tiny bubba, so why not do it bigger? Why not take it further? It doesn't have to just be here, like we're in Brisbane. So, you know, I love coaching by Skype some of my ladies in Europe, and, you know, I get to have that impact, and that's the legacy you want to leave, and that's the legacy I want to leave. So
it's like there's no borders, really.
Yeah,
There's work with everyone across the world, because the internet, I love the internet. It's amazing.
So wherever you are right now,
you know,
you get to see us.
It's like those preconceived ideas of state lines and country lines and everything. There is really, it's an imaginary thing that governments have created, but people, we can access people anyway.
Yeah, and that's again the beautiful part of, you know, social media or Facebook. You can, you know, I've still got friends that I've travelled with who I'm still friends with, and I might not see them for 10 years, but, you know, there's that connection, and again, the messages that we can share with the world are the most powerful things you can do. And it's that leading by example, and, you know, we talk about modelling excellence, and that's something that I was recently interviewed for with a government agency around modelling excellence in leadership. And it's like, you know, you can dictate or you can lead by example, and you can inspire and encourage others. They still have to come up to the plate. They still have to stand at the edge of that court and play hard for what it is that they want. And they can either choose to slam dunk while I cheer them on the sideline, or they can choose to sit on the bench. Again, that's their choice, but I will get you so far. I will be there with you side by side right up to that court. But you've got to take that responsibility for yourself. So, you know, people say to me, I don't like social media, it's really negative, and, you know, people, all they do is complain and moan and groan. It's like,
Reflection.
I don't have that in my feed. You know, I have, you know, people sharing incredible stories. Humans of New York, like, he's incredible, the photos he takes and the stories he tells. You know, I also have a friend of mine who's a photographer in New York, and you know, he takes, you know, some of the most incredible pictures of, you know, people's puppies, because that's what people like, you know, they're happy and out and about. He also takes some pretty great ones of celebrities too, but, you know, and then you've got, you know, the beautiful Marianne Williamson and even Wayne Dye's daughter. She's, you know, she's continuing on his work, and, you know, they're people that I choose to follow and, you know, feel inspired by and get reminded, like, I need an ass kicking every now and then too. So, you know, you want people who are going to kick your butt when it's needed, because sometimes you get tired of kicking your own. So you've got to find something else to flick the switch. But it's your choice. Like, what are you going to do with this exquisite, extraordinary gift that you've been given? You know, like, we're all different and unique, and we all do what it is that we need to do to get by. But what if one day you just did something that little different, and that changed everything? And that's kind of what happens. So I'm not saying that NLP and coaching and hypnotherapy will work for everyone with depression and anxiety, but it changed my life. I was looking for a way to end my life, and this showed me that anything is possible, and I can and do more than I ever thought I could. And again, now this new journey that's come about, which to fill those of you who don't know or follow my page, I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 5 weeks ago now, if I can go back in my mind, 6 weeks ago. It's been in a bit of a blur. And again, it's a choice. I posted a video the other week about cancer is that unseen blessing. It's an awakening, more so than ever before. Like, and I've done a lot of work, but then if I hadn't done the work, there's no way I would be dealing or coping or rising this way. So again, it's a very different scenario, and I'm not saying it's the same for everyone. There's no comparison here.
It's your journey.
Yeah, it is. It's a hell of a roller coaster ride, but I'm up for it.
You like roller coasters.
I do. I'm a huge adrenaline junkie. Much to my parents' disgust of, what, you're going to jump out of a plane at 30,000 feet? No, just 15. Yeah, my dad still goes. So yeah, but I just think it just reminds you that you're alive. So
it's like coming out of that. For a lot of people, they get into certain routines, and their day-to-days kind of roll into one after the other. There's no variance. It's kind of like being asleep, and then something
wakes you up.
And with that, you know, there might be some like event in their life, or they see something, and suddenly that awareness sparks something for them. And then it's like that cascading effect, and that's like rippling out from whatever happens, like the drop in the pond, rippling out, and they can choose to let that stone sink and to let the ripples go, or they can follow where the ripples are going.
They can, but I also encourage people to don't wait for something to happen. You know, like people say to me, oh my God, like, you know, you're so brave and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm just me, but don't wait for a wake-up call. You know, like, God, this is your wake-up call. Like, get up and change the things that aren't working. Have those conversations that you don't want to have. Have the most exquisite, extraordinary marriage that other people envy, because, you know, you and your partner communicate and you're honest and you're open and you're authentic.
Go do the things that you're putting off.
Yeah, like if you want to go and skydive 15,000 feet, Cooling's really good, Queensland, go do it. What are you waiting for? Stop, you know.
Stop waiting for permission.
Yeah, give
yourself
yourself
like waiting for permission.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest takeaway is give yourself permission to do what you want to do. Stop waiting for somebody else to rescue you. Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you it's safe, it's okay. And, you know, even when I coach, I am there step by step, but I'm not a therapist. Coaching to do with process. So yeah, I will kick your butt, and yes, I will be firm, and yes, I'm going to tell you things you don't want to hear.
But you can't make them do it.
No, but I want you to have everything that you've ever wanted. So you come to me and you say, I want to have the most exquisite, exciting, luscious marriage with my husband. Okay, then great. What's in the way of that? Let's work with that. Let's shift the filter. Let's change the way you perceive that happening, and go have that conversation. Go create it. It's up to you. Don't wait for, don't wait for the drama. Don't create it. Just make it happen. And, we're coming to the end of 2016. It's October already.
I don't know where the year went.
No, it's kind of gone past us. But at the same time, you've still got 3 months of the year to make massive change in your life. Don't wait for New Year's Day.
That's a fallacy.
We've all proven that New Year's resolutions don't work. What does work is you committing to you and you following through to your own self. Your soul and your heart and your mind. Like I teach women about whole body fusion, aligning their head, heart and their guts for them to listen and have that flow through effect. When they do that, everything starts to work because there's no resistance, there's no bullshit. And why do you want to live in that existence? Go have a shower, get dressed, and start to make one small change. That's all you need to do. Just one thing this week, one thing next week. That's 4%. It's like 1 hour of your day. So you're worth that. You're worth so much more than that. But I know that change can be a bit scary. So
you start where you are.
Yeah, start with some clarity, start with some conviction, and just give yourself permission to move forward. And some people have said to me, I'm just a mum, and that pisses me off.
Just a mum.
Nobody is just a mum.
Do you know what is in a mum? You're like chauffeur, housekeeper, nanny, cleaner.
Chef,
so
nutritional advisor, psychiatrist. It's an incredible feat to watch some of these women be the most extraordinary mothers in the world. And that's the thing. Don't ever think you're not this exquisite human being. So, when some of my clients said to me, I'm just a mum, it's like, no, you are way more than that. Never ever, never ever say you're just something. You're not. You're this incredible, extraordinary, passionate, dedicated, committed woman who's, whether you're a goddess or a warrior or a queen or whatever you want to label yourself. Empress. Exhibit A right here. Yes. Just do it. Just sit down and work out what it is that you want and be really honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself when you look in that mirror, then what are you modelling for those around you? What are you setting a standard of? And sometimes my coaching is tough. And sometimes, a lot.
Okay, sprinkle with lots of love.
Lots of love. People do cry. It's an occupational hazard. But that's it's a release, and it's an awareness. And sometimes my ladies will say to me, I just know that like one of my ladies said to me once. She's like, you know what? She said this session just paid for the entire pack. And I'm like, you got it, but you did it. She took herself on, and every time we speak, it's just exquisite what she's been able to create in her life. And yet she started with me to career transition and has gotten way more than that. So that's just it. It's what you think might be the core presenting
problem, issue,
the thing you want to tackle, whatever it is. That's just the top layer. The best part is we get to dig deep and dive and explore and unravel, and the most power you have is that vulnerability of standing strong in who you are. So do I love what I do? Oh, absolutely. Am I glad I'm where I am? Yes. Do I sometimes wish that the cancer part wasn't in there? No, I don't, because it's just building me an entire new empire, and it's an awareness that I'm incredibly blessed to have. And even at 1 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep because of the pain from the surgery and the numbness in my arm, it just reminds me I have an arm. So, and my body is telling me messages. So
all the time.
And we got to listen. We don't listen. We don't sit in the silence and just
because there's so much noise, there's so much chaos, and especially like in my house, there's always something on, and I have to retreat. I go to my office, and it's quiet, and I can just sit there and listen to me, and that's where I get my best messages, because I'm just being. I'm not having to listen to anyone or do anything or run around like a mad hatter. That's beautiful. I love that whole being.
Coming back into you, and it's being in yourself, and it's that. And again, it is that fusion of your inner being. It comes out in every facet, and that feedback is so important for you to just sit and just be present in the moment, because that's all you have. You know, and Eckhart Tolle talks about it quite often in the book, The Power of Now, how, you know, moment. So stop. Stop worrying about there and come back to here and just be present in the now. And doesn't mean you don't get excited and create a future to live into. Just enjoy being here.
And that's that being. Because if you're not being, you're just doing. And we're not human doings. That sounds funny.
Who is it that says you're not a being with a soul, you're a soul in a human body having an existence? I think is that Abraham? Or is that C.S. Lewis? Should get my quotes right? Check that one. But we are. You're a soul in a human existence. And, you know, there's so much.
This is not forever.
No.
But this is an enjoyable part of the journey.
It is. And, you know, sometimes there's nothing more I love than just putting my feet in the ocean and just breathing in that air and the sand and the sunlight. And I've done that in a lot of places around the world, and I still get the beautiful same thrill of abundance that, you know, I'm alive. So, you know, do I want more? Absolutely.
And we can all have more.
Yeah. So, and that's what I want to encourage you to really have awareness around, is how much beauty there is in the world. And just take a moment to stop and see it. And just notice how much you'll shift within that space.
Beautiful. I could listen to you all day.
Oh dear. Let's not.
Well, we have things to do.
Yes, we've all got places to be. I have another doctor's appointment, so I need to go. But thank you for being you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And I look forward to seeing all of you again soon.
Thank you very much, lovely people. So this is part of my interview series, and check out the other ones. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. So, au revoir.
Adios.